Hey there, and welcome to Your Worth, Your Way, the podcast that's all about helping you understand that you are worthy of prioritizing your joy without feeling selfish or guilty. I'm Debbie Lucas, the Joy Alchemist, and each week I'll be bringing you honest, heartfelt conversations with incredible guests, coaches, thought leaders, and soulful humans who'll share their stories and insights on self-worth, confidence, personal growth, and how to create a life that feels authentically yours. This isn't about quick fixes or cookie cutter advice. It's about real talk, practical takeaways, and plenty of soulful inspiration to help you live life your way. So grab your favorite cuppa, get comfy, and let's dive into today's episode. So today I am joined by the wonderful Stephanie Starla, a reinvention strategist and empowerment mentor. Stephanie transforms ambitious women's lives by blending mystical wisdom with actionable strategies, guiding them to reclaim their power and achieve unparalleled success. With a unique approach that fuses the mystical with the practical, she empowers clients to ignite their passion and build inspiring lives and businesses. And in today's episode, we're diving into the fact that you are not broken, you are becoming, and that you are a creatrix, a woman with the power to shape your life on your terms. And as somebody who's worked with you, Stephanie, for many years now, I can attest to the fact that you do get results, and the fact that I'm sitting here recording this podcast, owning my voice, shining my light. You were instrumental in that journey. So thank you for being here with us.
Well, thank you for having me. That sounded quite good, didn't it?
I know it's always a bit strange when somebody reads out your bio, isn't
Well,
it?
you sit back and you go, all right, that's what I do.
So tell us what's lighting you up at the moment.
Oh, wow. So many things, so many things. I am a total creatrix. Like, I love the creative process, whether that's in my own business and life or helping others doing that as well. So I have just launched my own publishing house, Starla Publishing House. And I mean, that's just a creatrix dream. Like, that is the container and cauldron for so much passion and wisdom, but also the tears, the struggles, the wobbles, everything within there as well. And just having that space as a writer and author myself, like, I know what it's like to create something that comes to you. It's like your baby and putting it out into the world, and that process, that laboring process of doing it. So that is definitely what's lighting things up right now in my corner of the world.
Excellent. And yeah, and as somebody who's been part of the kind of publishing journey myself, like having somebody to hold space for you and really kind of help you, that creative bit, which we work when we're working with that kind of, I'm forgetting my chakras now, the sacral chakra, like that, where our womb is that birthing things into the world. It literally is like childbirth. It's because it's painful when you want to go deep and you wanted to create something meaningful. So having somebody like you who can support people through that journey is just amazing. And as you say, writing is such a powerful way to get things out in the world, and it's a powerful process for the author as well, isn't it?
It is. It's the whole thing together. It's the holistic approach of it, going from the initial idea, that spark of the idea, and starting to get that on paper or computer, whatever it is that you use, and then building on that and going deeper and creating the characters, or if it's about yourself, you like putting yourself on that paper and how much do I share, how much do I not share, like all of this that moves through. And I think it's definitely a healing journey to go to it. So like with any healing journeys, it's always great to have a guide with you and somebody to support you through it. And everything from I love doing like open ceremony rituals for my writers, to giving practical advice on their editing and their marketing and their PR, like having that holistic approach so that they don't feel like they're on their own, and having that boutique business. I can do that one-to-one with people, which is what I love to do.
I know, and that's so important, isn't it? Because especially when people are writing about themselves and their personal journeys, being part of a big publishing company or something, you're going to get lost. You're going to be just not just a number, but you're not going to get that same level of support. And I'd like to come back to that, just generally that kind of creating and publishing process. But I obviously know you very well, but my audience and the listeners might not. So tell us a little bit about your story and what led to you doing the work that you're doing right now.
Yeah, so I've had a challenging life, and I think a lot of people listening will feel the same way as well. Everything from bullying to sexual assault to having a teenage pregnancy, like all of that has been part of my life, and I've always been someone to find a way to bring joy, to reinvent, to go, do you know what, this doesn't have to be my story anymore, it doesn't have to be my chat, it doesn't even have to be my page. Like I am powerful enough to change that. And I don't know where that came from in me, but it has always been there, which has allowed me to bring that forward in other people too. Back in 2020, my husband and I, we were together for 25 years, that relationship ended very quickly. And I find myself homeless, nowhere to live, no money, no longer in that sort of very much mothering role. My two daughters had already moved out. My son lived between the two of us, but then chose to live with his dad as a teenager. That, I'm going to be honest, that broke my heart. Like, as a mum, for your child not to choose to live with you. And a lot of that was to do with the fact that that was the home he's always known. My husband wouldn't leave, so I had to move out. But also his age, and I was the stricter mum. There's a whole host of reasons there. But what I felt was that complete loss, like my life force being cut off, because I had identified as wife, I'd identified as mother, I'd lived in the same town for 26 years. So everything was wrapped around that. So to start again from a place of like the ground was crumbling underneath me, um, was scary. It was the scariest thing I ever did. But as I said, there's something inside me, whether it's because I'm a Scorpio and I've got that Phoenix energy, but I'm like, I will rise from the ashes. And we've all got Scorpio somewhere in our chart. So we've all got that ability to rise from that place of destruction, of no longer there. And I started off, I found a place to live opposite, like literally on the banks of a loch. It was just beautiful. I walked every day. It was lockdown, so nobody could come and visit me. I spent a lot of time on my own. Then I found my own house and a farm, wrote a book, published the book, put the book out there, became a burlesque instructor, performed in the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. And then started dating again. As a middle-aged woman, like that was a massive thing. And I found myself in all of those, and then lost myself, and then found myself. It was this complete sort of moving through all the layers and peeling it all back to go, here I am. And that's what I talk about when I talk about the unwritten years. Yeah. Your life is not the same as it once was, but you're not quite who you know you want to be, and you're in this place that's unwritten. And I didn't know how to be a single person. I didn't know how to be without my children. My eldest daughter was 24 at the time, so I'd been a full-time mum for 24 years. My youngest was 13, and then just that going, but what now? Well, me. And that's what I say to my client, well, it's you now. And I think mainly as women as well, we're just not used to doing that. I'd been a mentor and worked in holistic and healing and things for 20 years before I got here. So I did have some good tools, some good things to bring with me. And that's what I hold space for other women. And that's what lights me up, to see them in their unwritten years, where they're becoming who they truly are and want to continue to be. And that's just, I find it fascinating and exciting in equal measures.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I think, as you say, a lot of the audience will identify with that. And I think two things that you said that really stood out for me, that kind of identity and the roles, you know, that we as women just accept, and you know, it's just like another cloak on top of another cloak, and another, you know, another label, another status, another role, and it just becomes part of our identity. And like, as you say, when you start stripping all of that back, it's like, who am I? You know, and this was a conversation I had in the very first episode with Anne-Louise Harbert, and it was like, you know, who is that soul who came to this earth, you know, before you had a name, before you had a date of birth, before you had the parents? Who is that? And that, like that's like, you could have a whole podcast series on just unpicking that one thing. But you know, but like when those roles start getting stripped away, and I really like that bit about the unwritten years, because I'm fast approaching that, as my son's going to go off to uni in September, and I'm like, I've craved freedom for so long, and
You
so
get it.
I'm doing a lot of work in myself just now to say, actually, well, this is just another phase of my life. I'm going to have that extra level of freedom. I mean, he's fairly independent. He's nearly 18, but, you know, he's going to be off and doing his own thing. And I've got that extra level of independence on me now. And it is just me. And like, literally the world is my oyster. And if I want to jump on a plane tomorrow and go to Amsterdam, I can do it without having to think, right, where is he? Is he being looked after? All that kind of thing. But, you know, but it is like, I still feel that pang that when you were speaking about not having your boy with you. I think, I mean, I know different relationships between girls and mums and sons and mums, but you know, there's a special relationship with your son, isn't there? So
Absolutely.
yeah, and I think, yeah, just I'm trying to think what else you were saying. Oh, the Phoenix, yeah. So you kind of spoke about that kind of like Phoenix, multiple Phoenix moments, and I think I always like to say, like, you know, we talk a lot about confidence in the spiritual personal development world, but for me, clarity comes from action and confidence comes from the clarity that you get. And that's exactly what you described. You know, you tasted things out, you tried things, and it wasn't until you kind of did that several times that you gained the clarity and you've now got the confidence to own who you
Yep.
are and what you do. And I think that's so, so important.
Confidence is such an interesting word. If I had a penny for the amount of people that have either said, I wish I had your confidence, or I don't have the confidence to do X, Y, and Z. And I agree completely with you that you don't get confidence in the beginning. You don't have the confidence there, especially when it's something new. And what I talk about is that spark, which is courage.
Yeah.
We all have the courage to take the first step. Otherwise, none of us would be walking. Each one of us had to take that first step. We had to take that first bit of solid food. We had to step into the unknown and keep doing it. And imagine if the first time we fell or stumbled. No, not for me. I'm not doing it. And stumbling is part of the journey. And when we realize that and create space for it and be okay with it, not worry about it, we can just embrace it, and it just becomes that beautiful journey that we're on. And the whole mother part, and I mean, my son's he's 18 at the end of this month, so we're 4 years later. And he's got his own job now, he's got an apprenticeship, he's doing really well in what he's doing. And it's so much is focused on midlife. For women is menopause, is perimenopause, menopause. We talk a lot about that, and we talk a lot about the issues with those things. But what we don't talk about is the potency that we have to create the space that we now have in our lives, to create the energy we have, because a lot of this sort of perimenopausal time, we're cutting away things that no longer serve us. We're no longer tolerating the rubbish. So we're creating that beautiful space to go, well, what now? Then absolutely coming home to ourselves, but also being creative and going, well, what's my legacy going to be? What impact? And with a lot of us that have had children or raised children, we've already created a massive impact by humans that we've brought into the world. Or those of us that haven't had children, constantly creating, whether it's the homes, whether it's our careers, whatever it is. But this beautiful unwritten years is going, right, what impact can I do? Can I create? And what legacy can that be for generations to come? And legacies like your 7 generations to come. And oftentimes it is book, it is the written word, it is making a change in society, doing these things. And the women that I speak to are all looking to make some form of change to make the world a better place.
Yeah. And I think that's ultimately what we all want. We want it for ourselves, for our children, for our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and as you say, those generations to come. And I think, you know, it's like, you know, I'm probably fully kind of entering the perimenopausal stage as well, and probably a lot of the listeners will too. And I think it's, as you say, it's like, I think society has taught us so long to kind of fear it and spoken about the negatives. And yeah, there's physical changes in your body and it does have an impact on you. But, you know, I choose to focus on the positives, like you, like, you know, like, yes, this is the next stage in my life. There's ways that we can manage this. And, you know, so I'm not gonna lie down to it. I'm not gonna go like, oh, you know, yeah, there might be days where I'm struggling, but at the end of the day, I'm going to keep that positive mindset. And I think when we can embrace that rather than fear it, and it's that courage, but again, it's about stepping into that next stage of yourself, that next kind of cycle of life. Because, you know, as women, we are cyclical beings. That feminine energy is very cyclical. But one of my worries was always like, well, when I lose my menstrual cycle, like what cycle am I in, and how do I manage that? So that's something that I'm still kind of working on for myself. But having the communities and having the space and having people who can walk you through that is so, so important. And I think with Pluto being in Aquarius now, it's all about community. And I think thank goodness for it at our time of our lives, because it means we can lean on each other and we can sit in sisterhood with some of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of wounds within our sisterhoods as well. We've had to learn, and that goes back to the witch wound. That goes back to pointing fingers and going, "There's a powerful woman. We'll call her witch because we don't agree." You still see that playing out. You still see that happening. But I think the ones that you can get to this genuine sisterhood is going, whoa, I'm jealous of what you're creating, or envious, or whoa, that's triggering me. Can we have a conversation about it? Or I'm going to take responsibility for where I am with that. I'm going to work through it. And if that's having a conversation and looking at it and going, look at that woman shining, and you can absolutely appreciate it and love it, and at the same time going, why is it not me?
Yeah.
What have I done wrong? Like whatever that is, and owning it. Because if you've got that little thing of going, why is that not me? That is a beautiful invitation to come in and go, well, it is. It is. You've just not connected with it. You've just not allowed yourself to be that part. And that's the unwritten years where we go, right, okay, well, let's look at knitting it together and cultivating her and creating her from the inside out. That's truly what you want.
Yeah.
So it's lovely.
And it totally taps into, like, what my next question was going to be, you say, we're not broken, we're becoming. And it's such a powerful reframe. So can you kind of like talk us through like what it means to shift from fixing ourselves? Because I think that's what we often think we need to do on a personal spiritual development journey, or if we're entering the menopause, it's all about fixing the symptoms, to actually reclaiming who we truly are. And can, like, what practical steps can women take when they feel lost, stuck, or like they've lost their spark?
It's actually really simple. I'm probably going to do myself out of a job. I don't have 10 steps set for you. I have one. Bring it all home. And I always feel really emotional. Bring it all home. All those parts that you deem broken or others have deemed broken, all the parts that you feel that you need to fix or others have said you need to fix, just bring it all home. And what I mean by that is just come home to yourself. Like, if there is a part of you that feels broken, listen to that part and hold it. And it's not about, and again, I love psychology, I love that, and trying to break everything apart and look at it all. I'm like, no, actually that doesn't help. What helps is the integration part of going, that really jealous part of me, I'm going to bring her home. She is welcome in this space, because actually it comes from fear, and I've generated the fear, and we can work on that. Brilliant. And the same thing with feeling lost, feeling disconnected, feeling unworthy. Like, rather than going, I shouldn't feel unworthy, I'm going to build up my worthiness, that actually it's just counterproductive, because you're focusing on the negative. It's anchored in that space. But when you look at the part of you that feels unloved, unworthy, unwanted, unneeded, like, and just go, I hear you. I am with you in solidarity, and come home. You are welcome here. That part of me is welcome here, just to witness and be with and hold. You find that integration comes in, and you're no longer at war. There's no conflict there anymore. And the majority of the times when we're in this place of inner war is because we're at conflict, because we've decided a part of ourselves is unacceptable, not good enough. And all your resources getting eaten up with any sort of war. You've got no energy, you've got nothing there. But when you bring the two home and come in and say, actually, it's all welcome here. My inner critic, the bitchy one, the rageful one, the upset one, the depressed one, all of it, and just have a space for it and go, you're welcome. You're welcome here. It's amazing, just that energy, and just how you come into harmony and peace, and just that to me, self-love.
Yeah, wow. And like, if those watching on YouTube will see me sitting nodding and smiling, but if you're just listening on the audio, I was literally grinning from ear to ear. There's a few things I want to pick up there that bring it all home and coming home to yourself. That's exactly how I described. I don't know what to call the moment I had in November 2024, when I kind of literally, like, I came home to myself, and it just all dropped in. And I'll come back to kind of, it wasn't about the the scary negative parts for me. It was about my light and my purpose. That was the scary part for me. But coming back to the bit that you were saying about, you know, like all the parts of you and integrating that and bringing them all home. Like I was part of one of the processes, one of the containers that you held a couple of years ago, and it was the beautiful meditation you did with Inanna going into the underworld. And anger was one that I felt like I had suppressed for a long time. And I know for women, anger is one that's very much kind of like oppressed in society, I guess, and seen as a negative. And it was one that I had, like I never actually felt anger. And that really opened, I get goosebumps now when I'm thinking about it, because I can remember it so clearly doing the meditation and like the rage and like just like the wild, like I could see myself like and just like getting it all out. It was so powerful, and it kind of really helped me to kind of integrate that part. So, you know, that work is just so good. And I think, you know, yes, often it's about the kind of the scary emotions that, and you know, like the sadness and the grief and everything that we try and kind of suppress. But you know, I'd done all that, and then for me the scary bit, as I said, was the good stuff. And owning that and shining my light. And I'm still working on that. Like I've created a self-worth activation workbook, and I'm actually working through it myself, because the last week I've been really feeling like the negative doubts and the self-doubt creeping in. So I'm taking myself through it again. I'm like, oh God, there's another layer there. Okay, right, okay, this is what's happening here. And it's like we do heal in those layers, and actually like knowing that I've got something to offer, knowing that we've got something to offer in the world, whatever that is, whether it is staying in the career and becoming the CEO or the director of a company, that's absolutely fine. If that's where your soul's purpose and your passion lies, fantastic. If it is staying at home and being that stay-at-home mum or granny or whatever, fantastic. But it's about, as you say, bringing all those parts and owning that, and knowing as long as it's in alignment with you and your heart and your soul's purpose, then you can't go wrong, can you?
You can, because it's you, it's your life. That's what we're here to express it, and it's why I love the expressive arts. It's why I went into burlesque dancing and performing. I did not have a very good feeling around men, and I wanted to be able to own that and honor it and not bring it into my relationships. So I created a character that was a complete man eater. And on the stage, she absolutely did everything in her energy to kind of go, I'm not having that, and this is my way. And it was a beautiful, safe expression. And it's the same with her writing, singing, dancing it out, drawing it, painting it, like your anger, your distrust, your joy, your laughter. And I love what you said there as well about sometimes we've got to bring our successful self home and not sticking her out in the rain because what will people think? Who does she think she is? All of that. And it's like, well, I'm the queen of Sheba. Like, why not? Why not embrace all of those parts? Now, how you want to show up with that. And again, whether you're happy in your job and you're like, oh God, I should want to push forward, but actually, I'm really content, happy, in love with what I've got. Just own it. Give yourself permission. This is the, like, write your own. This is unwritten yours. Like, anything goes. You can write anything you like, create yourself in any way, showcase aspects of yourself in this moment. I'm not performing right now burlesque. It's a part of my story that I love and I bring in, but I'm not doing that today, like right at this moment in time. So although it's a part of me, I don't have to constantly be in that oh okay, I'm burlesque dancing and I've got all my boa and things. I'm also a book writer and a publisher, and we can do that, and it's perfectly okay. So it's, if you need a permission slip, which you don't, but if you did, here it is, right here. You have permission to be whoever you want and write your own years, your future years.
Exactly. And I think one of the things that kind of helped me on my journey was like when I was at the point of resigning from my job and pursuing my business, you know, I'm saying full time, but I don't want to be working full time. That's why I resigned. But was that bit of like, I did a lot of journaling at the time. And one of the reframes that kind of came down to me was there are endless possibilities or opportunities in the unknown. And like whenever I feel fear, I just keep seeing the positive in it. Like literally the world is my oyster, you know, and bringing it back to what you were saying about like embracing your inner queen and reclaiming sovereignty. And I know the one of the containers that I did with you was, I can't remember what it's called, but sovereign was in the word. Yeah, and I remember feeling quite uncomfortable with that term because it wasn't something I identified with. But once I actually realized it's just about owning who you are
Yeah.
That can be whatever you want it to be. I was like, okay. So what does that look like in everyday life? You know, for women who are juggling the responsibilities, people pleasing, kind of run with self-doubt, how can she start ruling her own life again?
One, start to move through the word sovereign, like start to play with the word sovereign, because I think it creates a vision of royalty and a queen and stuff too. And I think a lot of us again go into that, who does she think she is? So the first thing is bringing it in and going, right, okay, well, where does sovereign sit? As you did, you're like, oh, I'm comfortable with that. Where does it sit in your body? Where does it feel? Does it drip off the tongue? Does it not? And start to recognize that first bit and then play with it. I remember years ago, a coach that I was working with was like, you've got an issue with business, but I had my own business. And I was like, I do not. And she was like, you do. And I realized that business to me, my dad was a workaholic. Like business to me was being a workaholic, never seeing your family, completely sacrificed and burnout, all of this up and down cycles. So of course I was like, hell no. Like my subconscious did not want to go near it. So I was basically running my business as a hobby, until I redefined business to make it align with me. So this is your opportunity to redefine what sovereign is. Sovereign means creating a life that you absolutely love. Like you're waking up in the morning and you're going, I can't wait to do this. It's finding your boundaries, saying your no's, bringing the people pleaser home because she served you at some point in your life, and asking yourself, who do I want to be now? Like, what do my boundaries look like? Do I want to be the people pleaser? Is it serving me now? And if it's not, well, what does the sovereign and the people pleaser have in common? Like, we're not wanting to get into conflict. What are they both looking for? Freedom,
Yeah.
space, recognition, being seen, being loved, like all of those beautiful things. So let's work on those things. Let's bring those things into awareness. And that's what sovereign is. Creating that life that you love. And you can go, do you know what? So I'm just so happy. I'm so happy, even in the challenging times. I'm not talking about this kind of glossing over with positivity. I'm like, I'm not like that.
Yeah.
I dig deep. But if you're able to go, do you know what? Even through challenges, even through tough times, even when the rug is taken from out my feet, I can hold on to who I am in that moment. Even when I come off course and I freak out or I'm behaving away, I can always come back to who I am, that sovereign.
Yeah. I love that. And it's that kind of concept of it doesn't need to be either or, it can be both and that's like, that summarizes for me the whole bit of integrating all the parts of you. And I think it's about stepping away from societal, familial, cultural norms and expectations and beliefs, and kind of owning that for yourself. And to hell with, I'm saying to hell with everybody else, because you're if you're doing it from a place of love, you're not going to harm anybody. And I think that's for me, like, people that I speak to, the women that I speak to, that guilt of being able to do that and put yourself first. And that's the bit that kind of is a massive limiting belief and holds people back. And that for me, like the work that we did together, in your kind of containers, was that kind of allowed me to see that and own that. And that's, that's why I am, as I said, where I am today. And there was something else that you said, and I forgot to write it down now. Oh no, it's completely gone. But yeah, just thank you for sharing that, and that was really helpful. So I'm going to just shift lanes ever so slightly, and joy is a big focus of what I do and this podcast. So what's one way that you intentionally create joy in your everyday life, and what advice would you give to a woman who is struggling to prioritize her own happiness?
So sovereign has shifted into this energy of it's our time.
Yeah.
It's my time, it's your time, it's our time. And that to me is joyful. Like being able to fill our time as humans is an finite number. We don't know what our number is, okay? But we know it's finite. We know that we're not going to be living forever in this human form. So it's about recognizing that it's not time to put it off. It's not time to put everybody else first. It's our time. And when we come in to collaboration, to community together with that as a sort of grounding force, we take the time. We are able to reclaim the time and go, time is a precious resource. It's really precious. How do I want to fill it? What is going to cultivate joy in me? And that's step one. Before you can go into the joy, you need to be able to reclaim the time to be able to do it. And that's, again, saying, no, I don't have time for that today, because I'm focusing on me. So it's our time.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and insights, Stephanie. And one thing that really stood out for me was that bit of bringing it all home, bringing all those parts of you home. And that summarizes the whole bit of sovereignty, is about accepting and owning those parts and integrating them, because you can only truly shine your light and step into your sovereignty when you are whole, and you can only be whole when you do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I am sure that my listeners will want to find out more about you and what you do. So where is the best place that they can find you? Where do you hang out, and where can they learn more about your work?
So mainly on Facebook. So I'm Stephanie C. Starla. I'm actually probably the only Stephanie C. Starla, because I made that name up and owned that too. So yeah, Stephanie C. Starla on Facebook. I'm sure the links and things will be under.
Yeah.
That's where I hang out most of all. My website is stephaniestarla.com. I've not got the C in that, stephaniestarla.com. And that's where you'll find everything about there and process. Hopefully when this goes out, the website for the Starla Publishing House will be out. So if you feel that you've got a book inside you, or you're looking for a writer's mentorship or retreat or anything, get in touch. I've got some juicy offerings for those of those that are looking to cultivate a new story. And whether that's in a physical book or just within your own life, I am here to support that and guide you through it.
Brilliant. And I'll pop all the links to your social media and your website and everything into the show notes as well. So thank you again. It's been an absolute delight. I always enjoy spending time in your company. I always come out feeling much more empowered and inspired.
And me too, with you. It's wonderful having these conversations. We're ready to go.
Good stuff. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Your Worth, Your Way. I know that you'll be walking away feeling inspired and ready to embrace your worth and prioritize your joy. If you love this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a review or share it with someone who needs a little bit of encouragement today. And don't forget to hit that follow button so you never miss another episode. You can connect with me, find out more about the podcast, my guests, and what I do at debbielucas.me/links. And if you don't already, follow me on your favorite social media platform. I'd love to hear your thoughts and continue the conversation there. And until next time, remember that you are worthy exactly as you are.